Well, that was an unexpected twist. What does it look like when God brings mercy in unexpected ways? This is Eric Slay with the UWM Pen Guy, and this is the Bible commentary. As always, if you like what you're seeing, I'd ask that you hit like and subscribe in order to help the channel grow. And now, without further ado, let's get into the Word. Today, we're going to look at Joshua chapter 9, verse 15, and we're going to see a very unexpected, sort of sideways example, perhaps, of God's mercy. So let us read the verse. And it says, "And Joshua made peace with them and a covenant with them to let them live, and the leaders of the congregation swore to them." So here we are going to see that there were several things going on at the same time here. One of them was what we described previously, that the leaders of Israel were blundering their way into a disaster. And the other is that, actually looking at it from the side of the Gibeonites and the fact that their scheme worked, we can see that they received great mercy from God. Now, there is a parallel example to this, and all I'll put up is the final verse of it, where Abraham goes into Egypt the first time. He actually does it twice. And he lies to Pharaoh and says that his wife Sarai is his sister. And so naturally, the king, having the power, and this being kind of the royal prerogative at the time, decides he's going to take another woman into his harem, or something to that effect. And when he almost when he's on the verge of doing it, God comes to him in a dream and says, "You are a dead man, for the woman you are seeking to have is another man's wife." And Pharaoh says, "But Lord, I did this in the innocency of my heart." And God said, "I know that. And therefore I kept you from sinning against me." What a remarkable statement. And what a remarkable demonstration of how God works in the world. That God actually is so sovereign that he prevents people from sinning against him sometimes. Actually, probably a great deal more than we realize. We don't realize just how bad things could actually be. For example, before the flood, a couple centuries before Abraham's time, but only maybe 12 chapters in the Bible before, 14, you have the statement that every thought of the imagination of their heart was only evil continually, meaning there was not a single good action, but there was not a single thought that was righteous, that was good, was moral. That's completely unimaginable today. Even the worst dictators today are loyal to their families and have something that kind of vaguely resembles a twisted version of virtue, and have to operate in sort of a modern framework of freedom and democracy and values. Nope, not in the ancient world. It was just complete chaos, moral anarchy, and this is a whole nother subject, so I will actually digress and say that God restrains a great deal of sin today. He prevents a great deal of people sinning against him. And it's worth mentioning he does this through the conscience, which is the law of God for those who do not possess the law of God. So it's not as if though God is mechanically stopping them from doing evil. And in the case of Pharaoh, you have it's difficult to say how he did this. He probably just arranged the circumstances such that Pharaoh would not consummate this illegitimate marriage with Abraham's wife. until God had warned him of the truth, that Abraham had deceived him. And to go back to the Israelites, the fact that God does this so much means that he chose to not restrain the Israelites from making this foolish decision. And so I think we can say accurately that God was showing great mercy to the Gibeonites through this not restraining of the Israelite sin. And so if you have not turned to Christ, recognize that God is restraining you from many things. He's restraining you from sinning against him through your conscience, etc. But that conscience also serves to either accuse or excuse a person. It is the law of God. The law is a tutor that leads a person, that should lead a person to Christ. Listen to that witness that you are not adequate in the sight of God to achieve the perfection required to enter heaven. Okay, and so until next time, this is Eric Slay with the UWM Pen Guy. And this has been the Bible Commentary.